Колеги, доброго дня ще раз. Дякую.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Thank you for coming to our additional briefing. Now we'll be talking about humanitarian aid to Ukrainians who are on the occupied territories. I would like to invite the Member of Parliament, President's envoy for conflict settlement in Donetsk and Luhansk regions, Iryna Gerashchenko, and the head of the State Emergency Situation Service, Mr. Buchkovsky. So we congratulate you with the holiday, with water baptism holiday, which is today. And now let's talk about more serious topics, more dramatic one. There's not a single person in Ukraine and in Ukrainian administration, there's not a single person who would be really concerned with the situation in Donbas. Unfortunately, every day we see not just the violation of the ceasefire regime, but the terror which combatants and terrorists sponsored by Russian side organize against Ukrainian settlements which are close to the front line. We have awful facts of victims among peaceful population, many people wounded, and the president of Ukrainian government gave instructions to the local administrations to put all efforts into providing first medical assistance to those who need it, so that the military hospitals which are on these territories and which have the most serious expert collective of people, and such military hospitals are in Svatova, and the second one is near Zaporizhia, so that they also provide medical assistance if it is needed for civilian population and for those people who suffer from shellings from terrorists. Also, we are concerned with the aggravation of the humanitarian situation on the territories which are occupied, where there are categories of population which suffer. First of all, these are people who are not of interest for terrorists. These are elderly people, sick people, disabled, children, those who are in hospices and in psychiatric hospitals. And that is why the Ukrainian government is organizing a big humanitarian cargo, just like in December 2014. There will be 26 trucks from all the regions of Ukraine, 330 tons of this cargo, which will be sent to Donbas. This week it will be distributed among all these territories, and we are looking for the opportunity to get some of this cargo to specialized institutions which are on the occupied territories, to people who have nothing to do with terrorism, but those who are hostages of these criminals and who suffer from those so-called authorities. Those who will be responsible for delivering that cargo will be our emergency situation service, and the emergency situation service is doing a lot of work helping citizens on the territory which is in the gray zone and in general, in order to deliver these humanitarian missions to settlements. Mr. Buchkovsky personally always accompanies all these convoys, and those people who are delivering that, they are as heroic as all our military. And Sergei will tell you where these assistance will be delivered, how it will be distributed, but the key work on delivery will be taken by the regional administration, the Ministry of the Internal Affairs, and the Emergency Service. Gennady Zubkov will be also one of the managers from the government, and there will be the representative of the president who will be helping deliver this cargo as soon as it all gets to these villages. to these social institutions which are on the territory which is under the control of the militants, we will report immediately where it was delivered. Because you understand that's the issue of security of delivery. And very recently to the territory of Donbas, there was a big humanitarian aid delivered from Kazakhstan. That was governmental assistance. The initiative of providing such humanitarian aid was expressed by Sultan Nursultan Nazarbayev during his meeting with Petro Poroshenko in Minsk, and this assistance has been delivered already, and the emergency service and Ukrainian authorities and the governors of Donetsk and Luhansk regions, they decide on where to deliver it. And next week there will be a report on where this humanitarian aid was delivered. And I would like to thank every country of the world on behalf of the government of Ukraine for such an assistance. And I would like to say that we do need it because the situation is so difficult. We have more than 640,000 IDPs. The humanitarian situation in the East is very difficult. So we thank those who help. And Sergei, on the 22nd, on the Day of Unity, will go to the East, and he will be heading these 3 convoys. Please tell the journalists. Thank you. We are doing that all the time. We are delivering to those in need the humanitarian cargoes. 22nd will be just one of such days. Dates on the 21st we concentrate all these trucks in one place, and all these trucks will go in 3 convoys. The first one will go from the south. It will be concentrated in Pavlograd, and it will go to Kramatorsk. These are 8 trucks. The second one will move from Kharkiv, 9 trucks, and they will be going to Kramatorsk. Besides that, 8 more trucks from Kharkiv will go to Severodonetsk. And the leaders of the convoys are Colonel Gritsenko in the from the south, from central, the leader of the one which will go from Kharkiv to Kramatorsk will be Colonel Kirilenko, who's the head of Poltavsk main department, and the one to Severodonetsk will be headed by General Stoyetsky, who's my deputy. All the coordination and responsibility is mine. I'm responsible for everything. And also I would like to announce that on the 22nd of January in Kharkiv, there will be a ceremonial inauguration of model settlements, model towns, which were delivered by Germany. That will be done with Vice Prime Minister Zubko being present there. Also, the Ambassador of Germany, Christopher Weil, will be there, and they will be able to see the final result of the work, which has always been done in Kharkiv. Also, 6 more towns or settlements will be constructed this way. We are absolutely ready to that. There is some lagging behind from a schedule in Zaporizhzhia, but we need to mention that they started later than everyone else, and there are some problems. They will, so that they are not ready. They will not be absolutely ready to accommodate all those IDPs for who this was constructed. So this work is going on a permanent basis. It's all planned, and I believe in the nearest future you will see the results. Everything else you've heard from Iryna Gerashchenko. So we have the task and we will execute this task just as before. Thank you, Iryna. Thank you, Sergei. Your questions. 1+1. Do you have any guarantees that this humanitarian cargo will reach occupied territories? And what is in there? What things are you bringing there? What's in there? Yes, you answered the question yourself. That is what is the most needed things. Food, first of all, different types of food. There are food packages, different food packages. All food is packed. Besides, there will be some food products in bulk. And we also provide assistance to the heads of the oblast, to General Kiptenko and to General Moskal, so that the assistance will be provided if needed, in case they need some other logistical support. As always, this will be done transparently and under the control. So this is quite a strict thing. As to the guarantees, will it reach where it is needed? We do hope that it will reach where it is needed. We will be approaching very carefully to that, and will be working on developing all the algorithms for that. First of all, we are inviting mass media when the convoys started, and we would like to thank 1+1 channel, Ukraine channel, 5th channel, those who were present in Kharkiv. They opened a truck that was selected by journalists, and the journalists saw what was there. There were some candies, sugar, some cereals, some canned food, everything needed to survive. Also, how is that happening? Ukrainian cars, Ukrainian trucks, neither the trucks of the emergency service nor other trucks can cross the checkpoints, and that is why we have the procedure of how all that is delivered. The trucks come and take these cargoes under the control of German charity fund, and we will invite the third party to also control that and follow the delivery. And then the heads of these social institutions, they inform us that the cargo was delivered, and we are requesting for video and photo recordings, and we gave to all the TV channels. And we would like to thank all those who were using these photographs and videos, and of course the photographs of the children who were chained to bed, who stay in bed because they are so sick. These are photographs which really bring tears into our eyes. And Mr. Moskal allowed me to say that in 2014 he had a strange phone call, and the phone call was from so-called government from a so-called Lugansk Republic. He said, we did not expect that these will be food products that will reach the social institutions, because people are really starving there. And that was the reaction like that, because after each Russian so-called humanitarian convoy, the shellings of Ukrainian territories become strong, because what they bring is weapons and money to pay to terrorists. But the Ukrainian cargo has only food products, but it will be delivered only when we know for sure that that's to children, to sick people, to specialized hospitals, but not to militants. You said it correctly. The algorithm is like that. We bring it to our logistical centers, to Severodonetsk and Kramatorsk. We unload that and then take it by small trucks to where it's needed. From TV channel Ukraine. Okay. Ukrainian news. And the question to either one of you, as of today, how many IDPs are registered? The IDPs from occupied territories, how many citizens, and from Crimea, separately from Crimea. We know all the accurate figures. I will give you the press release where it's all in detail, not to waste time, so that you do not think that we do not know the situation. This is the Emergency Situation Service, which is responsible for the information about how many. It's more than 630,000 every day. This figure changes because today, when even talking about the gray zone, when they're shelling the villages on Ukrainian territories, we see victims among Ukrainian citizens. It's awful to read about the places where we were, like when we were reading about the Baltsovo-Glivgorsk, then they are killing or wounding children. It's awful, and we call upon the citizens of these territories, please preserve lives. The Ukrainian authorities, with all the burden that we have in the budget, to accept such number of IDPs, the Ukrainian authorities will take you. But the main thing is to save your lives. Better move from those territories till the Ukrainian diplomacy, Ukrainian army stops these scoundrels. But do not risk your lives and lives of your children, please, because there's a certain percentage of people, and they say that they believe that it's scary to live in this village, but when you go out, there are people from right sector, and it's even scarier, so more scary. So please don't believe that. And I can tell you on our website of the Emergency Situation Service, every morning at 9 a.m. we update all the information. So all the information is there about the numbers of places for IDPs in different regions, how many were registered. We update all that information every day. Any other questions? No more. Then thank you, Iryna and Sergey. And we will be looking forward to hearing from you about delivery of this cargo. This is it for today. Traditionally, tomorrow we start at 9 o'clock.